Today is day 3 of the De-Rattle and denoising the GR86. Today we're going to do the trunk. The exhaust is getting a little drony, and the seat backs and the back seat kind of cut some of that drone out. So I'm going to reinstall those. We'll still be at a net weight loss since the stock muffler is so heavy, and I replaced it with an axle back JDL single exit. Yeah, let's get started. Okay, so a couple things. Zoom out here. Be careful of little gaps like this and that. You don't want to lose your clips. I'm gonna fall down right there too. So just be mindful of that. It looks like the shapes in here are gonna be kind of a pain. So we're just gonna see how this goes. I might use some insulation. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's return air. Okay. I'm not going to use insulation since these are the return air vents for the AC. Putting insulation in here will clog that up. Obviously, I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to do the sound deadening material, not insulation, just to prevent any airflow issues. A couple sections you're going to want to pay close attention to on the underside of the trunk. There's these two metal tabs that just kind of come out and they hang there. So like, they're not really there for any reason, but that can have a lot of vibration. So be sure to put some on this tab so it doesn't just act like a tuning fork, just, you know. But yeah, I'll probably cut up actually, that's pretty solid. I don't have to worry about this. I think this will be fine for under the trunk. Then I'm gonna put the foam strips on the edges to keep this interior trim piece from rattling around. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so it's not even noon yet, and I am pretty much done with adding the sound deadening to the trunk. Actually, I'm gonna put some right here and right there. But after that, I'll be pretty much done with the trunk. Or I will be done with the trunk. I just have to put those things back in there. I'll probably add some foam strips where they kind of hit on the edges of the foam pieces, just to prevent rattling around or bouncing around and stuff. And then I'm going to add the rear back cushion and the seat belts back to the car. Yeah, I'm gonna put some panels right there, and then I'm going to take off the side trim pieces and put the rear seat back in. So I think we're making pretty good time. I'm very pleased with the time I'm making. But yeah, so this is nice and solid now. There's no rattling on the edges or bumping. So that sounds a lot better. I'm sure this will sound a lot better too. I might put insulation down here. You know what? I think I will. No, I'm not. That's going to be a pain in the butt. I'm not going to do that. So, yeah, I'm going to put these panels in and then take these off. So let's get to it. So that was all I recorded in the garage today. Basically, that was all I did, except install the seats. I'm gonna leave some of the time lapse going just so you can see kind of what I did for that. But basically, if you haven't taken out the rear seats in your car, the last, hour and a half, 2 hours that I spent out there, probably an hour and a half, not relevant to de-rattling and denoising your trunk. I am curious to see how this sound deadening reduces drone from the exhaust, because that metal plate on the bottom of your trunk basically acts as a membrane that can amplify the pressure waves from your exhaust. So the sound deadening on top of that, it should have some effect on how it changes the drone profile of the exhaust. Really, the trunk was just a lot of sound deadening panels. There weren't a lot of clips to put foam on, there weren't a lot of contact points. So the trunk is just a lot of sound deadening panels, not a lot of clips, there's not a lot of trim that you really have to worry about contacting each other. I did put a little bit of foam under the floor panel in the trunk, so the foam just kept the panel from rattling against those foam inserts. I'm trying to think of anything else. One thing I'd like to do soon is put a plastic sheet or maybe a rear diffuser to cover that area where the OEM muffler was. I think it's catching a lot of air and creating a lot of road noise just because of the air turbulence under there. So I would really like to smooth that out. That'll probably be the first aero piece that I put on for the car, just to eliminate all that air resistance under the car.
3 days later.
Alright guys, so after driving a few days and leaving the back seat open, the rear trunk seemed to really deaden a lot of the exhaust drone. So I was right about it, you know, deadening that membrane effect of the bottom of the trunk. And so for 2 to 3 hours of work, it really made a big difference. And if you only have a little bit of time, this is one of the things that I would definitely recommend doing. The trunk and the trunk lid. Just putting the foam strips around the foam inserts for the tire change accessories, like where they contact the floor of the trunk, and then the foam strips along the carpet trim piece that's on the roof of the trunk. Got rid of a lot of rattles, and so highly recommended, especially if you have an aftermarket exhaust that has some drone to it. Normally, it doesn't really bother me. There wasn't a lot of drone to begin with, but whenever I'd have passengers, I was a lot more conscious of it, so it just makes me feel better about that. But yeah, overall, super worth the time spent on it, and something I would recommend doing. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time. Peace. Oh, be sure to be kind to someone today. One of my dogs is dreaming. Oh, I was gonna video it with my phone, but she stopped.